Hi, I'm Gill Kirk. I'm a Bath-based playwright, and for the last year, since I was in the 17% showcase launch back in March, I've done quite a few things. I've got a couple of shows going into production in Bath and Bristol coming up. I've had a script factory showing at the Euston Off in Bath, and I've got a seed commission coming up. So they're paying me to develop a new script, which will be going up in May. So it's really exciting. There's a really good sort of writing ecology down here in the southwest. There's the wider southwest going right down to Cornwall, Penzance and so on, but also in Bath itself and Bristol. And the two cities, they're only 15 minutes apart by train, but work beautifully well. So you've got loads of exciting stuff going on at Bristol Vic, which is great, lots of development in us, but also in Bath. So the two feed each other. So while they're very different cities with quite different types of writers and issues going on, it really cross-fertilises beautifully. And, you know, doing it here, I just think I'm so lucky. I didn't try it in London, but I think I would have found it quite daunting. I think if you want to write, you've actually got to just put your money where your mouth is and write. There's no, because you can come up with 101 different excuses for not doing it, or you can say, oh, so-and-so did it, but they had money or they had extra time. Make the time. If you're serious about this, you have to just do it. You know, I'm juggling a new baby at the moment, and I've bought dictation software, which I got on eBay for a tenth of the price. You just got to use your imagination, find ways that can write, carry a notepad around with you. You don't need to worry about what font you use or what computer you use or whatever. If it's in here, just get it down and keep practicing, and try and see as much theatre as you can. You know, go and volunteer, just help out, just do it, because it's the only way that you're going to get better. But just get out there and get in touch with other writers. That's the other thing I'd say. The networks are just fantastic. If you find them, use them. People are always just pretty willing to help. I think there's something really important about really what your backstory is, if you like, as a playwright. And we hear a lot in the media about really successful, and rightly so, writers who are, you know, in their early 20s, and they're writing fantastic stuff, and I'm not taking away from that, but a lot of people come to it through maybe having done it at school or at college, then gone and done a proper job, and then come back to it later in life, like me. And you might feel that you're not as fashionable or as interesting because you're in your mid-30s or your mid-40s or your mid-50s and writing. But the important thing is to remember that you have got something specific to say. There's no point trying to be a trendy 20-something when you're 30 years older than that. But if you can pinpoint what it is that you've got that's specific, but also then how that impacts on what's universal, how that links to, you know, standard human experiences. And remember that women are doing this all the time while juggling homes and caring responsibilities for their parents as much as for their children. Then, you know, that's something, A, that's worth writing about, and B, remembering that you can keep going, keep doing it while you're doing everything else, but not being put off. Don't assume that no one doesn't want to hear, that people don't want to hear what you've got to say. So there's this whole thing about political theatre and how we seem to be quite an apolitical world. But actually, you know, if you think about that old, I hate to be sounding so untrendy, but that feminist principle that the personal is political, you know, I've written things that are overtly political, whether it's about the banking crisis or personal political, about how women in their 30s face sort of a fertility time bomb, and how they're being told you must go to university, it's always too late, or it's always too, young to have your kids and get it right, and that sort of juggling, that's political. I grew up in Glasgow, where politics and conversational politics was absolutely just what everybody did. If you listen to, whether it's 5-year-olds or whether it's a taxi driver or the conversation in the pub, that's where good plays come from. And it's always, I think, in some way political. It just doesn't have to be about what's going on in Whitehall and Westminster.